That's your intro, ladies and gentlemen.
We're back.
We're back. Jordan Sarmo and Ross, the boss. It's
How's everybody
been.
doing? You doing good?
You're doing
How
good.
you been, man? You seem like you've been super busy.
Last week I was with a family. We went on a 1 week vacation at the beach, which was it forced me to not do much because I didn't have internet access, but it was kind of a good thing. But yeah, I've been doing that, and then I was in Tampa today they're having that Freedom Conference with like Mike Lindell and Flynn and all the guys, and that's why I'm in a hotel right now. And then these next 2 days I'm at another event, so it's been pretty busy. What about yourself?
Similar busyness, but
You're
not
writing
in.
sketches.
Yeah. I've been doing a lot of. I write a lot of those, but I don't really even write them. I just think of them and then I press like record on my computer relatively shortly afterwards, or on my phone, and then I publish them, and then they get taken down as false information, and then 6 months from that, they're proven to be actually correct.
Instagram has been hitting both of us a lot these last couple days.
They're gonna keep going, these bastards, dude. They're gonna. I mean, these
It's
jerks.
yeah, it's frustrating. It's really frustrating because you put work into this, and then they can throw. I mean, they fact checked me the other day for Trump's statement because he said I was right about everything. And then Instagram fact checked it and said, because if you continue to post like this, then your Instagram will begin to not show up in certain parts of Instagram. And it's
Right.
like, I literally posted the Trump statement, and he said I'll be right about everything. And the USA Today fact checkers said that it was false information because Trump said in his statement that he was right about everything. It's absolutely ridiculous.
He actually said that the sun would set at 6:05. We know for a fact that the sun set that day in that particular place where he said it was actually 6:03. So yeah, false information.
Seriously,
You're actually a white
it's
supremacist
absolutely
terrorist, and we knew
ridiculous.
it the whole time. Yeah,
January
I'm getting sick of
6th.
it, man. I've been getting sick of it, man, more and more. I'm just like, I'm honestly, dude, it's like it's everywhere. I'm burned out. Like, it's everywhere. It's it's like mosquitoes, and you have a fly swatter when you walk outside. It's like that's how it feels like to combat bad ideas or things that aren't true, or to try and
And it's never
extinguish.
ending. It's
It's
never
never
ending.
ending. There's a new pile of heap of crap that they'll tell you today
Yeah.
that is 42% inaccurate. And if you don't go correct the record in your own brain just believes a lie about history. When you remember what today happened, your brain will, like, dude, I was talking to this kid on Omegle earlier, and he was like, "You don't think that the January 6th was a terrorist attack?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, sure, you could say that, but it was not a legitimate attempt to overturn an actual government with no firearms,
Right.
no murders, no hostages, no plans, and then promptly leaving at 6 p.m. as prompted to leave by Trump, going, guys, quit doing this." It's like, yeah, if it was a terrorist attack, it was incredibly poorly planned, and I don't know.
Well,
Yeah,
I
there was
mean,
bombs, but one of them was at the Republican whatever.
yeah. And again, we don't even know who the how did. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it. So real quick, don't forget speaktruthwithoutfear.com as we get into this conversation. You guys can our podcast. We also have this on YouTube, Rumble. So if you guys want to see Ross's pretty face as he does all of his accents, then you can watch them on YouTube and Rumble.
It's freshly shaven right now too. I have got a
We
brand
both
new haircut.
we both got a fresh haircut.
Yep.
We're both checking ourselves out right now. And then on top of that, again, if you're listening to this, you can listen to this on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the other platforms, iHeartRadio. Make sure you give us a review. It really helps out on the algorithm. But all right, we're talking about January 6th. I
We're
mean,
already knee deep in this thing, guys. So just hang on tight.
Tucker Carlson,
Yeah, dude, blew it up.
blew it up. And
Revolver.news.
seriously, I mean, for one, the fact that Tucker actually even put this out on Fox, I guarantee you the executives and the board at Fox were piss in their pants when he
You
dropped
think?
his. Oh, definitely.
But you
No.
think Tucker's got enough sway that he can be like, I'm talking about it.
Oh yeah. Well, Tucker is the moneymaker for Fox. It's like you can't. I mean, obviously you can't stop him from what he wants to say. Sean Hannity's been the very similar, but Tucker Carlson's been like on the edge, on the tip of the arrow on everything.
Right.
Sean Hannity, he says what you expect him to say, but like Carlson's saying the stuff that no one wants to say.
Right. Like, precisely how many people were involved
Yeah,
on January 6th? There were FBI agents. So was that half of them? I think we should all know.
literally. That's a great impersonation. But I mean, seriously, why? I mean, a couple of things that he pointed out. For number one, I mean, this report from Revolver.news is, and if you guys.
Number one, it's incredibly long.
It is a long. It is
Dude,
a very
it's the
long
longest article I've ever seen.
Yeah, and I've got through like 70% of it.
I made it through like 12% of it.
Yeah,
I literally said out loud earlier that I'm going to get through this whole article, and I made it through 12% and then had to stop. That's where my self-control was at today.
Yep. Well, the case that they make is that it looks like, because there is a whole group of people that were indicted, and then there's a whole section of these people that have been taken off that list, and you can see who that is. And so there is a good amount of people that it looks like, from what Tucker Carlson and Revolver News are reporting, that the FBI had infiltrated. There's three specific groups. There's the 3%ers, there's Proud Boys,
And the Oath Keepers.
and the Oath Keepers.
Right.
And what it looks like is about 25% of these people, a part of
That
these
were arrested for infiltrating or whatever, were actually like not listed right now,
informants.
as if they're not prosecuting them for some reason, which implies that they're FBI agents.
Correct.
And some of these FBI agents, they're labeled like person 2, person 3. Some of them did violent acts.
Yes.
And incited the event to occur. Now, for those of you who are listening right now, we're talking about the same FBI that James Comey was the head of, that sat in the meeting before Trump took office with James Clapper, John Brennan, Biden, Obama, and they all discussed, and we have the handwritten notes for this, by the way, about whether they were trying to, quote unquote, in their own handwriting, get General Flynn fired or get him put in jail. That is not the job of the FBI at all to do either. So if you're wondering if the FBI has a history of potentially being corrupt, the answer is yes, they do. And this is certainly alarming, but not unexpected.
Well, Michael Flynn. I mean, you just look at what they did to Flynn. You look how the same agents wiretapped the Trump Towers, while he wasn't even president yet. They tapped the president's son and his affiliates. I mean, it does suck that we're at the place right now where we can't trust the actual institutions that were put in place to protect us in the first place.
Well, especially now that they've got these, that they just said that they're going to go after domestic terrorists, and everybody that's on the right and the conservative side knows that means that if you're one of the people who thinks that there is a reason to rise up against the government if they get out of hand, right, which is anybody who reads the Constitution and takes it seriously.
Yep.
That's all of us. So get ready. They'll probably be at my door in a month going, hey,
Well, they already showed up to mine. you know, because me and Ross, we were both there on January 6th. And neither of us went inside. None of us did any of the craziness.
We did no illegal things.
Yeah, no, none of that. But I mean, again, I have a ton of friends that they ended up showing up to, and a lot of times they're just looking for information. But still, it's a crazy thing that we've had from all the protests and the riots that we've had over the last couple of years. What Antifa's done all across the nation. And these people continually just get released. And we saw some of these people there on January 6th. And one of the videos that's going around today right now is one of these informants that Tucker Carlson was talking about, that looks like he was an informant for the FBI acting as a Trump supporter. On January 5th, there's a video going around right now. I don't know if you've actually seen this, Ross, where John Sullivan, the guy from Insurgents USA, who got paid $40,000, $20,000 from CNN, and $20,000 from, or actually, Yeah, for MSNBC. It
MSNBC.
might have been 40,000 each actually. Um, and they were both together. They were both together on January 5th, hanging out the day
Ah,
before. And so it's just like everything
false flagging.
and another false flag. But I think the biggest false flag right now is when it comes to January 6th is why do we not know who the murder of Ashley Babbitt is? Because it's so interesting that
Well, you call that a murder?
oh yeah, I completely call it a murder. They didn't give a warning of. They did not give a warning to her. The shooter just shot her. She was completely unarmed, um, and
I wonder if they thought it would incite violence if they did that.
possibly,
If it
yeah.
was a false flag, like we're thinking it probably
I
was.
mean, if you think about it, there's like what she is the only person that actually died from the actual January
Combat
6th.
between the riots
Yes,
and the police, right?
yes,
She's the
and the
only person on either side that died because of the other side.
correct, and we don't know who he is, which is just crazy. I mean, and then the other thing is there is over 10,000 hours that the Capitol Police and the government is withholding worth of footage
Right.
that we have not been able to see. What are they hiding? And
Yeah, we
that's
remember what happened last time with that. Remember they held the stinking George Floyd videotapes.
yeah,
Like, dude, today you can't even see the freaking airplane hit the Pentagon. Like
literally.
today you can't. I wonder why. What would
I know.
happen if we actually got all the footage of the 8,000 cameras or whatever that were supposed to be looking at the stupid thing, or at least 48 cameras, whatever it was. But like, it's annoying, Jordan, living in a world of deception and trying to be somebody who actually likes the truth because they get to cheat. The other
Yep.
side gets to cheat in everything. And deception, like it makes sense that there's an actual like thou shalt not lie, like they shall not bear false witness. Like that actually is a thing that helps not degrade society. And when you embrace falsehood as a tool to press an agenda, that's danger zone, dude.
It
And we're
is.
seeing what that does to people. Look at mine and your lives right now, Jordan. Our life basically exists in looking at things, determining which part of it was a lie, and then exposing it while the masses consume 90% of what they're told. And
Literally.
it's just dangerous, dude. Like people are living a lie right
Yeah.
now. Their fear, their paranoia, their worries, their anxieties, they're all entirely misplaced. Like, dude, if you're a black person in the United States, you might as well be afraid to go to work because a white person might lynch you on the way there. That's like where we are. But yet that's happened like one time in Texas in the last 6 months or something.
Yeah.
And everybody on all political sides condemns it. But for some reason, everybody acts like it's the next big thing. Like there's so white. When's the last time anybody ever met a KKK member, dude? I've literally never met one.
Well, I know, me neither.
But I know a lot of BLM people that'll say kill Whitey and get high fives on Twitter for it.
Yep. I mean,
So it's like people are just miscategorized and they're like just falsehood. It just really makes for
dude. It's depressing. It really is
it
depressing.
is, man. That's what I'm saying. I'm sad.
It's sad that
Black pill.
yeah, for real, that you have majority of the country, majority of the world that they do as they're told, and it's the unfortunate part. Um, and I mean the good news is, I mean, the percentage of people trusting the mainstream media is going down drastically, and independent journalists and uh, independent news networks, they are getting the word out. Especially, I mean,
Yep.
especially people on the right. I mean, people on our side, they don't really trust the mainstream media much.
Yeah, not anymore. And now, like, everybody's basically got wind of this. If you want to know the truth, you have to go to these weird off sites to figure it out. It's good because it's making everybody on our side critically think again, because they're going to run into the complete wild animal articles that are like
Yeah.
Biden taken into custody by military at 1200 this morning. And it's just kind of like, okay, buddy. Like you got those.
Right.
And then you got the other ones that are like, that are corroborated with two or three other ones, and you're like, okay, let's look at it, and you can kind of determine facts versus not, and it's just, I think everybody's starting to realize they're going to have to do that. The left's going to have to do that soon as all the results from this vaccine start hitting everybody.
I think that's going to be the big one for the left.
Yeah.
For
Look.
for us, it was November 3rd. I think,
Yeah.
I just watched a video. I can't remember the name of the rapper, huge rapper. He was on, I believe, that really one of the most popular podcasts, The Breakfast Club, out of New York, and it's they're talking about who got the vaccine, and two of the there was like four people they were interviewing, four rappers. Two of them raised their hand, two of them didn't. What's his name? Waco or something? Quake? I forget his name,
Waka
but
Faka Flame or whatever.
is oh man. Anyways, well he's super popular. So when, but in live on the interview, you know, they're talking about how you can still get COVID, and he's like, hold on, stop, 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 stop. What do you mean you can still get COVID? You can't get COVID. That's why I got the vaccine. That's why I got the shot. And then they're like, well, no, you can still get it. But then, and he's like, hold on. And he got mad. He was legit mad. And then, the host, the lady who's like a libtard, she was just like, hold on, I'll explain what this means. Listen, you still can get it, but what the point of the vaccine is that you can't be hospitalized for it anymore. And now you can still give it to so and so who doesn't have the vaccine. And he's like, hold on, so you're telling me that I still got to take the test. I still can pass the COVID. I can still pass it even though I have the vaccine. Then what's the point? And he had this moment of like, I have been lied to.
Right.
But like to the point where even you have the girl host delusional enough that she still thinks it's okay that you should still get the vaccine, and it's okay that you can pass. It's just, it makes literally
Yeah, you're
no
watching
sense.
the like split of the people that are wait, we don't want to have no thoughts. Like I
Yeah.
don't want to be consign all my critical thinking over to like the machine.
Yep.
That's the thing about this is, guys, this isn't about. It's not about left versus right. It's about, look, there used to be people who would sing songs like, the band name Rage Against the Machine that was like F the police and I'm not going to do what you tell me and all these ideas. And the point of that is that it has been proven throughout history that the machine can be corrupt and is not always, if ever, favoring the people that it is supposed to be in charge of. And
Yep.
there's this general understanding of that throughout history. And over the last year and a half, I don't know what happened to everybody going, I don't trust the police or Trump, but now the medical establishment and the president and everybody gets together and it's like they just welcome it with open arms, like they're only looking out for our good. The corporations, the airplanes, all of them are only looking out for our good. And it's like they've just all become the teacher's pet on the left recently somehow. They went from the rebels to the teacher's pets. And
Literally.
it's like and I think it's because they realize that what's happening is that their ideology is getting enforced with power, and
Yeah.
like maybe they're just kind of not minding that that's happening, so they're just letting it happen. I don't know. Is
I
my
mean,
mic clipping on your side, by the way, or is it
uh,
okay?
just a little bit. Only when you talk super loud. Not too bad.
Okay, I'll leave it like it is just for now.
But I mean, it is insane to think that the same powers that be that the left have protested and took the streets against over the last 10 years, 15 years is just so quick to just shut up, put a mask on, and not say a thing, and then trust those same big pharma, medical, big tech, and just do as they're told. It's just it is crazy, and that's why it's so important that what we're doing. And it's
Yeah, and
it
then BlackRock investing or whatever is starting to
yeah.
buy all the housing market at price and a half, so making it so civilians can't go buy your own freaking stuff, which is part of the Great Reset. They want you to have to rent everything, and it's like, dude, if we don't stand up and stop this nonsense, yeah, it will have happened democratically besides the election fraud, but all that's happening is they didn't have to fire a gun and they're taking over the country. So at which point do you be like, okay,
Yeah.
time to do things that are necessary when people are trying to control what goes into your children's bloodstreams?
Seriously, yeah, literally. I mean, when you got Biden over at the G7 and you have American reporters challenging Putin on, the horrible things that he's done to political prisoners, and then all now all that Putin has to say, which is hilarious, is like you have over 400 American citizens labeled domestic terrorists They didn't do it. They were there for a political opinion. Aren't you guys doing the exact same thing
On January 6th.
on
Yeah.
January
You, like,
6th?
remember the picture of the grandma that was in there? I bet you she's in
Yeah.
solitary confinement right now. I bet you she's literally sitting on the floor with bad hips, with no medicine that she's supposed to be able to take, and is dying a faster death than she would be dying in regular life because she walked into the Capitol when she was invited in by the
Literally,
police.
literally, and
Like, we
that.
aren't saying that people should get off if they did crimes, but what we are saying is, like, you don't get to torture people like they're torturing people right now.
Well, not only that
You
though, it's
know,
just like even the people that did walk in, and let's just say they did take Nancy Pelosi's, her podium or whatever the hell it was. I mean,
yeah,
have you
that's not an offense for
have
23 hours a day of solitary
we're
confinement, dude.
talking 20 years and up to 20 years in prison. And let's talk about the riots that have gone down where they literally burnt down buildings, burnt down gas stations, killed
David
security
Dorn.
guards. I mean, like, and there's no one in these Antifa dudes, and they get released. I
Yeah,
mean,
they get released. The DAs are set up and funded by George Soros and open societies, and then they just get to walk out
yep,
because they have the freaking Freedom Fund that Kamala Harris endorsed and
literally,
advocated for in her Twitter that let freaking people get taken out of that
they
let people
paid their
pay
bail.
their bail.
Yep,
And then these people who some of them were child rapists that Kamala got out of prison or out of jail, so they got him out on bail. Like, dude, like, I don't know. Remember when they asked her recently at that stupid that went viral where they were like, "When are you gonna plan on the border?" Or when are you gonna plan to take a trip down to the border? And what was her response? Her response was like,
we've
"I'll
been to
get
the border.
around to it almost."
Well, no, then to the point she said, "We've been to the border. We've been to the border." Well, you have. Well, no, we've been. She said it five
She
times
said
that
it
we've been.
5 times. She said it
Five
five. She
times.
lied flat out, gentlemen and ladies. She lied in a way that you lie when somebody says you didn't bring cookies and you go, "I did bring cookies." And then they go, "No, you didn't bring cookies." "I did bring cookies. They're in the car." "You didn't bring cookies." "Okay, and
Oh,
I also did not bring salad." Like, straight lied about the topic like a couple, like more than 3 or 4 times. She lies like that, and then goes, "Yeah, and so what? I also haven't been to Europe," in which case was also a lie because she has been to Europe, and so it's like, it's, dude, I don't know. Maybe she's an idiot, but at this point, it's like,
there's a
I don't
reason
think you're
why
an
she
idiot.
came. There's a reason why she was in second to last place in the Democratic primaries.
What was she in? What did she have? 9% or
Not,
something, like, or
no,
four
like it
percent?
was like three. It was
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
she literally was the second to least liked person, and
Do
the
you want to
reason.
know if people like you or not? Rewind like 2 years. The answer is nope. They
Nope.
don't like you at
She,
all.
she. I
And
mean,
somehow you're the front runner for free women everywhere when your grandparents were slave owners more than mine or Jordan's.
literally.
Literally, her grandparents were slave owners in Jamaica. Freaking had slaves and all. You can't make this shit up. Like, you want to talk about privilege, dude? My parents were freaking potato farmers, out in the middle of North Carolina doing nothing, had no slaves, nothing. My grandmother picked cotton, bro, and I'm a white old boy. I'm fat and got bad blood pressure and all that. I don't know about the white privilege. I know I don't get profiled by police probably, but at least my grandparents weren't slave owners.
Yeah,
You vice president of fakeage.
and at
And
least
didn't she use
and let
her
we didn't.
Indian or Asian like ethnicity as like a
Yes.
benefit, and then now is identifying as black?
And then let's not talk about how she climbed up the ladder of success. She banged her way to the top.
See, I don't know much about that, so I never said that.
Oh no,
I
she
just don't
did.
know enough.
It's
I
out
don't know
there.
enough.
I mean,
Is that true?
oh, it totally is the true. It totally is true. That's how she
Who did
got.
she? Who did she schnuck? Oh yeah, I saw pictures of her schnuckled up to that one guy who was really loaded. What was his name?
My dad is in here. He's like, she must have done a good job. Well, I mean, we've all seen the video that recently came out with Monty Williams, but then there was. I'm gonna look this up right now. Kamala Harris.
Sex tape.
And
I'm sure it's on there. Yo, I was on Omegle again today, bro, trying to chat with people, and it is so weird. Like, I don't understand these
Oh, it
people.
was with the San Francisco mayor, Willie Brown. He was 60 years old and he was married. And
Of damn course, his name was Willie
yes,
Brown, by the
Willie
way.
Brown, 60 years old. He was married, and he appointed Kamala Harris to one of two lucrative positions. But then when he became the mayor, he actually dumped her, which is very
I changed
interesting.
my volume. Sorry, I had to do it.
No, you're good.
Hope it doesn't hurt anybody's feelings.
Um,
Okay, well, so she banged multiple people. Makes
anyway,
sense.
yeah. So I mean,
Makes
we all
sense. I
yeah.
just, I'm waiting to see what happens with everything revolving around this election, and I'm hopeful because we're desperate. Because desperation makes things happen, and I'm hopeful because of that. But I'm going to be honest, I'm not hopeful for the Supreme Court to do the right thing. I'm not hopeful for the local people in Arizona to do the right thing. I'm not hopeful that the DOJ won't start arresting people at will. I'm not hopeful that Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok and all of them won't just start mass banning everybody soon again, especially when this information starts popping off again. They're going to be trying to shut everybody up because, if the information can't get out, then whatever. But we're going to find a way. And I think what's going to happen is Trump is going to launch his new social media thing.
Well, Jason Miller's been
Probably.
talking about a lot about it. Jason Miller, he's been tweeting about a lot. You just go on his Twitter, and he has been basically responding to everyone about a new social media that's going to come out.
When?
I think we're looking at 4th of July. That's basically
Not far.
And Trump's rallies, Trump's second rally is July 3rd. So I think
You guys are going to that in Tampa, right?
Yep, that's in Tampa. The first
Dude,
one's
that would be fun to go to, bro. I'm not going to lie.
I know, July 3rd. It's the day before 4th of July.
Because, in July, me and you both got to go to
Turning Point.
the Turning Point thing.
SAS.
We already bought our VIP tickets, son.
That's right. SAS student something summit. I can't remember the exact thing, but that's July, I believe, like 19 or 17 through 20 or something. So hopefully we'll see you guys there. But let's talk real quick. We got about 10 minutes left before we end this podcast. Let's get into the election real quick and get some of the updates. What's happened since in this past week? Number one, the biggest story is we have in Fulton County for the first time. They admitted in an email to the Georgia Star that that 24% of all absentee ballots in Fulton County have no chain of custody,
Meaning they do not know how to trace where they even came from.
they don't
just-
know where they came from. Literally.
Just as so the United States, when it goes to help other countries do things, one of the things that they do is help to have free and fair elections, so they say, right? And the margin of error that can occur for something to be a free and fair election is less than 1%. And in Arizona alone, we already know that they're off by 17%. Is that right,
17,
Jordan?
yeah,
They're
and
already off by 17 times what we would call in another country. They're already off by 17 times that amount for us to say that there was fraud in this election. So we're already at a position where we should all be going, oh, there certainly was fraud. Let's evaluate it. Not, oh my God, you quacks, there was no fraud. If you're still in that boat, it's because you don't know what's happening.
Yep.
And that's fine if you want to be in that boat, but don't have an opinion and be in that boat.
Literally. So we have 17% going down in Maricopa. You got 24% absentee ballots with no chain of custody, to the point where Brad Raffensperger, the freaking rhino himself, was forced to come out on Twitter and say this is very concerning, blah, 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 which he was the one that was saying that we've done a recount and we've done an audit.
There's nothing to
and
look for. We did a recount.
We did it all.
Is that right?
Complete.
Man, these people need to fry, dude. They need to freaking be like, American politics have become so polite but like there's a shirt from 1776 that makes me laugh because it's just a picture of George Washington and it says me and the homies would be stacking bodies by now. And I just can't disagree that that seems like it's the truth. Like we are witnessing such high, intense, clear evidence of corruption from so many like even the way that people in Congress make business deals with their stocks 24 hours before big things happen and nobody talks about it. Like I think Nancy Pelosi made 2.7 million dollars on a stock exchange that she did because
Yep.
something happened the next day within the last 6 months. And I know there's people on the Republican side that do that too, but like all of this is bad, dude. Like it's everywhere, Jordan. And me and you are just two knights in the dark, just
Well,
slicing our swords around.
it gets even better. So check this out. We talked about the 30,000 ballots with different paper. We talked about that before. They didn't have mail creases on the mail-in ballots. Now we have 24% of absentee ballots in Fulton County. That's a total of 19,000 ballots, by the way. Trump lost by 11,000 in Georgia. That alone overturns
Is
this
enough.
is enough. All right,
Yep.
it gets better. You're not. I don't know if you know this. This story broke today. The company that Fulton County hired. So Fulton County hired an organization called Happy Faces Personal Group. This is who Fulton County hired to handle all of the counting for every employee from Fulton County, Georgia. Guess who is a 17% owner of this company and was also the person that selected all of the jobs and supervisor roles? Guess this person's name.
Stacey Abrams.
Yes, you got it. You got it. Did you already see the story? You did. Okay, bro, that is. I mean, like,
Oh my god! And she was the one who was talking about voter fraud like 2 or 3 years ago or whatever that was
yes,
done to her that happened in that same place.
yes.
Wow.
So I mean, it stinks in Georgia. I mean, I really have no doubt in my mind, especially after now that Brad has been called out. His team. I just read a report a little bit ago that his team is now turning on him. They're pissed off because this entire thing in Fulton County completely contradicts everything that they said all the way from November 3rd up to January 20th. They completely lied. They knew about it, and if they didn't know about it, then they are fully incompetent. They have no business. He has no business being the Secretary of State of Georgia. He just needs to be completely gone. That's what's going on in Georgia, which this is going to end up. I do believe this is going to end up
Can
fully
you
in.
repeat that last whole paragraph that you said? It cut out.
Which part? Just what I just said just now.
Yeah, they've lied about everything from November 3rd all the way,
Yes,
and then keep going.
they have lied about everything from November 3rd all the way to January 20th. And Brad has lied continually to the point where now his own team is now being reported right now. His own team is turning on him because they're so pissed off because he knew, and that's why it comes down to one of two things. One, he knew and he just lied because he's bought and he's completely rhino, or two, and he was embarrassed, or two, he is completely incompetent and has no business being the Secretary of State of Georgia. There's no third option. The
Sure.
option is he has to be gone.
Yeah, they got it. Man, and I see, I'm just waiting for the first tier of justice to actually occur to this swamp dragon
Yeah.
that we are all witnessing for the last 5 years. From the liars in the FBI about Russian collusion, all the way to the people who helped tell everybody that Trump said drink bleach, and to the people who said hydroxychloroquine was bad and
Yeah.
murdered however many people that would have had healthy outcomes from being on a ventilator if they had just taken hydroxychloroquine beforehand because they have a 2.5 times greater survival rate if they go into ventilators if they had hydroxychloroquine is what they're saying now. And everybody acted like it was evil, dude. And it's just,
I was at the. I love that you're talking about this because the event that I was at today. There was four different doctors that spoke, and the last doctor that spoke has treated 9,000 patients for COVID. Not one has died, and he treated all of them with hydroxy. Not one patient died out of 9,000. The actual number is like 8,800 something. He's
What's this
almost.
doctor's name? Do you remember off the top of your head?
I wrote it down, but I don't have it with me. But he's based out of Oklahoma. I will find it out and put
That's
it in the
but you're not the
description.
first. That's not the first time I've heard something like that. They had that doctor that came in front of in front of somebody, and he had 600 patients that all use ivermectin. He had 100% results. Nurse
Yep.
Erin said that she had 100% results down in Florida with hydroxychloroquine.
Simone
So
Gold. Simone Gold, the
I
exact same
love that
thing.
Simone Gold said, "You owe me an apology.
Yeah,
You,
no,
Mr. President, you called me crazy. You owe me an apology."
that's not Simone Gold. That's
Oh,
Angela something. But yeah, Simone Gold though is like was her supervisor. Simone Gold was there behind her when
what,
she
you calling
was.
me crazy because I said you should be praying sometimes? There's demons floating about. Didn't you know they're trying to teach your children no ain't worth worrying about?
I had to do it.
That was
They,
great.
they I'm like, this is the perfect time. The podcast has given us some cool little things to
Gadgets.
some little
Wow.
gadgets just to add to the production. Okay, so yeah, so that's the quick update in Georgia, Arizona, really quick. OAN is reporting supposedly 225,000 bad ballots that are going to be coming out
Oh
on this
my God, I
report,
can't wait. I
which
can't
is
wait. I
going to
don't
be
want to wait
intense.
for the canvassing though. I want to strike. I want to strike with truth and start shouting out the trumpet as soon as they release any good data that we can verify.
Yeah, they're saying that the rest of the count will be done by June 29th, I believe, which is
Cool.
12 days from now. So hopefully we have a full report by July 3rd when Trump is in Tampa in Florida.
I want them to come on the audit, because it's ArizonaAudit.gov or whatever the heck it is, whatever the
Yep,
thing is, where you can go watch it live. They should all just come on the live and be like, "Here's what happened."
I know. I
Everybody who's
know.
been watching this whole time,
Because
uh,
no one can say anything right now. No one,
right?
like
They're all
everyone that's
under whatever that gag order or
NDAs,
whatever.
non-disclosures.
Yeah,
So
interesting.
you got that. I mean, and then again, I mean, kudos to the Attorney General of Arizona because the Justice Department, Merrick Garland, who is Biden's Attorney General, has basically been pushing hard on Arizona to stop. They sent them a second letter demanding them to stop this audit. It is a threat to democracy, a bunch of BS, which is completely unconstitutional because it is completely in the state's power to audit their own state elections. And that is basically what Mark Brnovich, the Attorney General of Arizona, wrote a strong letter back to Merrick Garland in the Justice Department saying, hey, listen, he
Yeah,
basically
he
said,
said,
F
"Try
you.
me." Yeah,
He
he
said,
said,
he basically,
"Try me.
yep,
Step a foot in this mug, and I will
yeah.
bite that foot off."
Literally, they said that you try to touch a ballot, you try to touch a machine, you will be sitting in Arizona state prison. That is basically what he said. And good,
Let's go.
I love it. I love to see it. So that's pretty much the update that's going on with the election. And then this is some really good news. 13 states now: Washington, Georgia, Virginia, Pennsylvania, Nevada, Utah, Colorado, Wisconsin, Oklahoma. The list goes on. Michigan, Missouri, South Carolina. All of these states have been to Arizona getting a tour from the team because all 13 of these states are
The
looking
audit team
to basically
go
replicate the
replicate
exact.
the same process. Yeah, it's genius. I mean, just to figure out, look, any transparency is good, no matter whether it's pro or not pro. If there
Yep,
was no fraud, I'd sure love to know it.
I agree.
I'd sure love to know that because then I could stop being as cutthroat as I have been
Yeah,
mentally with every time I see anything on the news. I'm just like, you don't want unity. You guys
yep.
won't even let us look at the stupid ballots, you know? You don't want
It's
unity.
so
But who
true.
knows, man? Jordan, in a year from now, we could be in a totally different situation, bro. We could be laughing and being like, bro, that was so close. We almost lost the whole world. And then we'll be like, remember when we both put armor on and we were like, we're going to fight this thing. And even if, because look, here's the options. Either we're right and we have a chance to turn this country back around in the next couple years to like actually get like a healthy, wholesome culture again and to actually be like ridding the world of corruption for a period of time, or we're wrong and it's
Right.
already going down the tubes and me and Jordan will be arrested at some point for this podcast going out right now 10 years from now.
Yeah.
They go, hey, we looked back and you had some weird you had some weird alt-right ideologies, like corruption should be dealt with by the people who put the government in place.
Isn't that
Like,
crazy?
it's a constitutional idea, but it'll be called that, and it'll be hate speech that I don't want my kids being taught that being transgender is the absolute norm, And so anyway, so
No,
we only have one option, and that is to shoot for the stars and that's not to make up stuff. We obviously have seen stuff that we believe. So we're not making up these things or agreeing with them because they fit our ideology and our world's falling apart. We think the world is actually falling apart, and we don't want it to. We want to expose corruption, and if we're wrong, we'll admit it, and if we're right, we're going to talk about it a lot. Thank you. I want to thank God. I want to thank my mother, my dad. You really always believed in me.
I love these new little gadgets. It's awesome. Well, I think we're going to end with that. Real quick, just some quick announcements before we sign off. Don't forget, speaktruthwithoutfear.com. We also have a support page. You can support the organization that we're doing. And again, please put in your emails. It's the one way that if me and Ross, we get deplatformed from our Instagram, email will be the one way that we will be able to stay in touch with you. So speaktruthwithoutfear.com. And again, make sure you guys get involved. When you do put in your email, we'll send you a document that tells you guys 3 simple steps of how to get engaged, how to keep your local politicians accountable. We created this as a resource for you guys so that you guys can get involved, because anyone can do it, and it's the way that we actually can make a change and make a difference today. So speaktruthwithoutfear.com. Make sure you follow Ross DeBoss with the _. Follow him on Instagram if you're not already. Mine is Jordan Sarmo. Ross, you got any final notes?
Nah, man, stay strong. We'll see you guys soon. Me and Jordan are going to be pumping more of these out.
Yep.
Relatively soon. So
yep, we're going to be pumping more out.
Be prepared for the ride.
Yes, sir. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for joining.